Good. And the reason I'm doing this is, like I said, I like to keep you guys caught up on what's going on with Facebook because I know a lot of you are probably a lot like me. A lot of your offline business is very tied in with Facebook. So without any further ado, let's get started. And after that, I want to make sure you all get to bed and get a good night's rest tonight. So there we go. All right, guys. Feel free to ask questions as we go. I'm probably going to send this out to a couple other people, so your questions will help them too. Because, like I said, I got a lot of folks asking me about this, and you're the first to hear kind of what I think on this, and I'm excited to hear your questions. So first things first, we have a redesign of the Facebook timeline. Has anybody thought about how that affects them? How does that affect Facebook marketing? What does it do to what you've already been doing, or how does it affect your life as a business owner or as an offline marketer? Now, the big thing that you probably realized is when this stuff shifts, we are moving from a 3-column model, which Facebook has been on a 3-column model, okay? And we're moving into more of a 2-column model. And I like the reasons that they're doing this. It definitely looks more like the mobile screen that we're so used to seeing with a lot of websites. And if you guys look, what does this look like to you guys? What does this particular setup look like? And it's really familiar if you're paying attention. A blog? Absolutely. It's very, very WordPress-ish, isn't it? There really are a lot of similarities to how a WordPress or a Tumblr blog is actually set up, with a little bit of Google Plus mixed in. And that's kind of how they put this together, okay? It's very heavy graphic, which is good. Very, very good that it's heavy graphic. They've taken all the things that were going on that we as marketers knew that graphics were the way to go to make sure our messages were seen, or that our clients' messages were seen in the feed, and they're actually making that even easier for us. Something else that I really like about this is they've removed distractions. Did you guys realize that? They've removed a lot of distractions. By taking, you see over here on this sidebar, how they've taken a lot of the sidebar and really shrunk it down to its bare minimum? Why is that so big for us as marketers? Why is that so big? The real key here, and the thing you have to realize about the whole moving that space off, is if there's less distractions, then number one, things in the feed get more attention. Number two, what else gets attention? This is what Facebook's really, really interested in testing right now. Ads. Ads are seen better. And notice there's nothing on your screen right now about ads because they don't want to put that on there. But ads will be getting more attention. What kind of ads? Well, the sidebar ads, if they leave them in, and trust me, they will. But also the newsfeed ads. All of those things are going to be getting a lot more attention. So, as we are marketing our pages, as we were setting our pages up for our local businesses or our niche pages, all those things, what is it extremely important to do? From what you're seeing here in this main thing, what do we really have to continue to focus on every time we post an update on our page? What's key? It was key before, but now so even more. Images. Absolutely. So number one, images are a paramount of your Facebook marketing experience, okay? If you're going to make sure you've got people paying attention, you have to stay on top of it. Now, something else, and I'm going to move down the list here, and I'm going to kind of show you some things. Notice how when someone shares something like this in particular, I thought this was very, very powerful. This is a CNN thing, but let's say that I, as an individual, share a video, okay? So let's say I, as an individual, share a video or I share a link. And then we have a bunch of other friends that share a link, and it shows up, and there's their face right next to it. You know, we've got that social proof that everybody's involved. But what is really powerful here is what I want you to really get into is the power of the share has gone up. Okay? They are really focusing on giving more weight to a share. Okay? And here's what's important. How many of you own a copy of Connect Reveal that we have? And this is the first thing that just jumped out at me. If you guys own Connect Reveal, why is Connect Reveal such a powerful tool in this model that they are moving to? And think about this for a second. Now, if they share it or they say it as themselves, you're getting more real estate. Okay? This has not been rolled out just yet, Joe. It's going to be rolled out over the next couple of weeks to everyone. And I'll show you where to request an invite, too. So the idea is Connect Reveal will post as the user. So Lindsay's asking, explain. So, and I'm not just pointing to Connect Reveal, but that's just the one I'm most familiar with. But what Connect Reveal does is when you click the link and you give it permission, Lindsay, it will actually post a status update as the user. Okay? So if it posts a status update as the user, now we're being given more real estate as the user. So the user posting and the user sharing, so shares and then using apps to share as the user is extremely powerful. So I'm going to get into, wait for the end, and I'll kind of explain why Connect Reveal is so stinking important here at the end. Okay? No, user not being the page admin, user being the person that's actually actually clicks on the Connect Reveal, the link. Okay? And I'll show you in just a second, Linz, why that's so stinking important, because I'm going to talk about how they've set the feeds up. So here's what we've got. As we move down the list, and I'm going to get back into this stuff in just a second, you notice that we're even getting more real estate for shared links. You notice how that just got bigger? So a shared link is even bigger with this new setup. So more focus is being given to things that are big. So with this is a link from CNN that CNN posted themselves. When this gets shared, we're going to get even more space, and then you're going to see some things pop up here as well from people that have shared it. Okay? So let's move on down. This is what I want you to pay attention to. This is probably the thing as Facebook page marketers, as offline marketers, I want you to get into this. And this is not a fan page. This is just this is feed. So I'm going to move down into what this will actually look like for folks. Let's actually get up into here a little more. Right up here. So this is what the page is actually going to look like. And users will have the option to segment out your business's page. Do you guys realize that? Users will now have the option. It's going to default to newsfeed, which will be your your entire. And then you can select most recent. This was all options in the past. But the thing is when I select friends, that's one thing. When I select groups, I'm going to see other things. When I select following, that's going to be more towards my pages. Okay? Now, what happens if they select all friends and that kind of becomes the default for people in the beginning? Do you think that hurts your page? The pages that you're marketing for businesses. If people start defaulting to that, does it hurt your visibility for your pages? I'm going to wait for answers because I want to see what you guys think. It does. It absolutely does. So how do we fix that? How do we fix it so that our business still shows up not only in the following tab, but it also shows up in the Friends tab? It's shares. It's people sharing your links, sharing the links of your businesses, sharing the links that you're putting up. All of these things are going to be extremely important because not only do we want to show up in this following section, we also want to show up in the friend section. And we show up in the friend section how? By things that our friends are sharing and by using apps like Connect Reveal to get them to share. Everybody understand where I'm going with that? And it's not exclusive to Connect Reveal, but that's what you've got to understand. Users are being given more filtering options, which is good. It's good. It's going to be more organized, and people are going to be able to consume content better. And what happens when people can consume content better? When they can consume it better, and they can take it in the way that they want, everything in that feed becomes more relevant. Do you guys understand that? This is such a genius move on the part of Facebook because they understand when there's less distractions from the kind of content that we want, we're able to consume everything in that feed even better. So what happens if you're the only business or your client's the only business that is getting people to share their content and you start showing up in the most popular feed, which is going to be friends at the beginning, if they pull this off? It means you're going to dominate. You're going to absolutely dominate. Now, I love this because, like I said, shares become big. Softwares like Connect Reveal become big. They can become a big part of the marketing plan for pages because they want to show up in as many of these feeds as possible. Okay? Now, the other thing that I really love, though, and let's get into it because this is important, is the implementation of ads. The implementation of ads is going to be extremely, extremely powerful. And the reason is because when users are less distracted, the one distraction on the page gets seen more. Does that make sense? So if we have less distractions across the board and everything is more organized, then all of a sudden the one distraction on the page has a better shot at getting the attention of the person. So that's pretty cool. So when I went into this today, I'll be honest with you. When I went into this today, I was like, what are they going to do that's going to mess us up? We'll adapt just like we always do, but what is it? And what they actually came out with made sense on a lot of levels. Number one, their ad revenue is going to go up, which means what? If Facebook's ad revenue goes up, what does that probably mean for us? I'll hook you up, Robert. We'll talk. I'll show you a link on how to get it. Clay, I'll hook you up with that too. I'll show you guys a link if you want to. I think that here's what's going to happen. I think their ad revenue is going to go up because of this organization. I think that we're going to be able to get our message across easier. Okay, we're going to be able to get our message across on Facebook easier because our ads don't have to compete with 900 other distractions. Yeah, Lindsay, I think this is going to get people to click on ads more. And I know they've got some bugs to work out when they first put this in, but I really believe that when there's less distraction in the newsfeed, I believe it's going to be easier to get people to click on ads, and I think overall that's a good thing for everybody. Because what does Facebook want you to be unsuccessful with ads? What do you guys think? Do you think Facebook wants you to be unsuccessful with ads and to stop paying and spending money with them using ads? No. They want ads to be effective. Do you know what one of the easiest ways to get cheap clicks on Facebook is? You guys want to know that? The easiest way to get cheap clicks on Facebook? The easiest way is to design an ad that gets a lot of clicks. Now, I know that may sound funny, but the more clicks you get, the more Facebook rewards you. Pretty cool, right? So the more clicks you get, the more Facebook rewards you with cheaper ads. Why? Because you have an ad that is training people to click on an ad. It's very, very powerful. What's a decent click-through rating on Facebook ads? Howard, my target is always 1.0. Anything above that, I try to always hit above that 1.0. So of every 100 people that see my ad, I want at least one of them to click on it. Now, if you were on Google, is that an awful click-through? Yes. It's awful. But if you're on Facebook, it's really good. It's really good. So that's the key, guys. That's the key. We now have a more efficient content delivery system with Facebook. When this rolls out, it's going to be more efficient, and people are going to be able to consume information in a more meaningful way. So a couple things. And like I said, I don't want to beat this in the head. I'm going to open it up for questions right after this. Number one, ads become more powerful right out of the gate. Number two, if you can get people to share things personally and you end up in the friend feed, when all of a sudden there aren't a bunch of pages and what pages are doing crowding the main feed, do you see how powerful that is? It makes us up our game, but it absolutely, if you understand how to attack this, it absolutely puts us at the advantage over other marketers. I think they've done a great job. All right, cool. So I'm going to open it up to questions because I know there's got to be some questions on this or just Facebook in general. But did that give you guys a good idea of what was important about today and why today was extremely, extremely powerful? Good. If you'd like to sign up for the beta version of this when it first rolls out and get on the list, just jump over to facebook.com/newsfeed. And there'll be a little green button at the bottom. When you click that, you're on the list. So yeah, facebook.com/newsfeed. And you'll be good to go, and they'll roll it out to you. Robert, they're going to be rolling this out in waves over the next few weeks. I mean, you can see it as early as tomorrow from everything I've heard. Lynn says, where do the page feeds show up? Lynn, from everything I'm understanding so far, the following section. But that may be changed up by the time that it actually hits everybody. What else you guys got? What other questions do you have about this whole setup and what it means to everyone? Because I think this is a very interesting setup, and I thought they did an excellent job putting this together. But what else do you have? Well, we have to change our timeline. Lynn, from what I'm hearing so far, I'm not seeing a lot of changes with the timeline, but what I think is going to happen down the road, Lynn, is I think that we're going to see a few cosmetic changes with the timeline, the way timeline displays some of your posts, but I don't think over the top it's going to be anything uncomfortable. Yeah, Matt says, is there a sample ad in that screen? I don't think I saw one. No, Matt, they're absolutely holding that close to the chest. They're not going to show you how they're doing ads yet. Yeah. David brings up a good point. The chronological order means it's more important to have regular and time-scheduled posts. Absolutely. Absolutely. Rhonda, I don't think you need to make it that complicated. Rhonda, does this mean businesses can create games that people will want to share but also advertise the business? I think that's overcomplicating it. I don't think you have to go that route. Like, I would literally, Rhonda, same thing we've always been doing, have photos that people will share. You know, you want people to share photos and repost photos. Have content, links that people want to share. And I think that's the key, is if you want to end up in a lot of different places and a lot of different segmented feeds, and keep in mind, the default's probably going to be the news feed, but when they do segment these things out because they want to see what their friends are posting and not all these pages that they're following, you want to show up in those friend feeds too. Yeah, Jeremy, that's a great point. Games are not going to show up in the friends feed. Games will not show up in the following feed. Games are going to be moved to a section so that they can absolutely just move out all of that crud. So if you want to see the game stuff, you can jump in there. Lim says, so basically this change will not affect us because people are still confused about Facebook still. I think, Lim, it will affect us, but not nearly as much as what everybody's thinking, as long as you understand that overall, I think this is a marketing move just as much as it is a UI. I mean, it's a UI for the sake of marketing. I think that they're trying to showcase ads. I think that they're trying to take out the distractions that games and people that don't know how to run a page. There's a lot of pages that are just posting crap, and it just pollutes the newsfeed. So what's happening is pages that have really good stuff that are getting a lot of shares, that's the thing. So with your local business pages, I think the key is post content that people will want to share. That's the kicker. Post content that people want to share. So pictures that say something. You know, pictures that say something are huge. Something that someone would want to repost. And hang on, I'm moving down the list of questions here. Let's see here. Yeah, Joe says, so in order to make sure we show up in all our friends is by making sure your friends share the content. That's the big thing. And what about the highlighted events? Yeah, Leslie, here's the thing. Leslie brings up a good point with events. How many of you guys are annoyed as crap by the events right now? Like the number of events you get invited to, just how useless events pretty much is a lot of the time. I know I am. I think events have been absolutely useless to a large extent, and I think one of the keys is when they've actually set up this event stuff, and let's kind of move into what one of these will actually look like. An event's going to start looking like this in your feed. So you're going to see something that looks like this, and you're going to see upcoming events. And I really believe it's going to clear out a lot of the clutter, which does what? We clear out the clutter. It helps people focus on the things that we get people to share in ads. So pretty stinking cool. Pretty stinking cool. Rhonda says, so links to content. Where will the content reside? Content will reside in a couple different places, and that's what I'm saying, Rhonda. When you actually have content come out, you want people to share that content so that it shows up in their friends' feed. It's really, really nice. It's really, really nice. All right, crew, that's all I have to say on Facebook stuff tonight. I wanted to blast through this and get some questions in, but like I said, I really, really think that this is a great thing for everybody. And while everybody's freaking out over this, you guys are going to be much, much more in the loop. So hopefully that helps.